7 Days to Die has a lingering problem, and today we're going to talk about it. Let's get to it. 7 Days to Die has a bunch of small lingering problems, for example, how easy it is to actually break the zombie AI and stuff like that, but there is one that overshadows all of those, and that is the fact that after you hit a certain point in the game, it gets relatively boring. And I'm not going to say a specific level because it's different for every player. For me personally, it's around level 35, 40-ish. At that point, for me, the game just becomes extremely easy, and because there is no more real struggle, I just tend to get bored. So I wanted to make this video talking about a few of the things that I think could be done to the game that would fix this issue and create better long-term playability. The first of those is creating chase items through the questing system that is currently in place with the traders. There's the whole trader questing system there, but there's no major incentive to go do that questing system. A lot of the different things that they give you, you can just get on your own or craft on your own. And because of that, there is no real reason to go do the quests with the traders. I will admit there are some small reasons. For example, if you want to double loot a POI, you can go get a quest, go to the POI where the quest is at and loot it, then reset the POI and loot it again. But overall, there is no major incentive to even participate in the questing system. They could fix this really easy just by adding special items that you can only get via questing. And this could be a plethora of different things. One thing that jumps to mind right from the get-go is different types of really OP mods. For example, the repulsor mod. Now, I know that's going to trigger a lot of people if I say they should take away the ability to craft and get it any way other than via traders and doing quests, but that item of itself is absolutely ridiculously strong. The stun baton on its own with the right setup of perks and the right build is already very strong on its own. Getting that repulsor mod just makes you somewhat godlike. Making it so that you have to do quests in order to get a chance to get that item will make people want to participate in the quests so much more. Then they could go through and just put a ton of other mods that are really strong just like that mod into the game and make it so that you can only get them doing quests. And they could even tier them so they could have low level ones that aren't as strong that you get from earlier quests, and then stronger versions that you get from doing higher level quests. For example, once again, I'm just going to use the repulsor mod because it's one many people are familiar with. They could have a situation where the lower version doesn't trigger as often, the higher version triggers much more. They could do the same thing with armor. Since they already have a system in place that allows armor to have special traits that give you bonuses, they could create special armor pieces that complete a set and then just have additional perks on them. They could even mix and match those perks using existing ones. A good example is how the gloves from the farmer set only give you additional rifle damage. Well, they could make a special pair of gloves that gives you the additional rifle damage and an additional chance to get another seed when you are harvesting. They would still count towards the set bonus. However, they just have that additional perk there, a perk that is already found on other parts of that armor. Now you just have it twice instead of once. And they could do this same thing with making it tiered. So when you do lower level quests, you have a chance of finding this perk that gives you lower chance to get seeds than when you are doing, say, a tier 6 quest, and it gives you a higher chance to gain seeds. Doing this would give so much more incentive to go do these quests because you would want those extra bonuses. And they could even add in special perks and bonuses onto armor pieces that you can't get otherwise through any other armor piece. And all they would have to do is just add new bonuses, which they could do relatively easy. I mean, technically you could do all of what I just mentioned through just modding the game. Not only does it give you incentive to go do quests, which give you something more to do than just run around looting, it also gives you a massive dopamine hit when you manage to actually get one of these items as a reward. And they can also just make it purely random what you get so that you don't always necessarily get items that you're going to need from the quests. So for example, you may get a repulsor mod and you're not using batons at all, but that could be used by somebody else in your clan or party, or it could be used as a trade item. Now, a big problem that is going to come from this is all of these extra bonuses is going to make the game that much easier, which creates a bit of a problem. And in order to make the game harder, you don't want to go nerfing the players like crazy, because I feel like the player power level is about where it needs to be. So in order to fix that problem, we would need to buff the zombies somehow. And I'm not a big fan of just turning zombies or anything in that matter, any NPC that you fight in a game, into to some type of damage or bullet sponge. That's just not fun. I have an idea to solve this problem as well. I'm not sure it's the be-all end-all solution to this problem, but it's definitely a start, and that is just random zombie traits. Let me explain. So the way zombies are right now, they're kind of just static. They're not really too crazy with variations. I mean, yes, you have your different types of zombies, but overall, all zombies just kind of do the same thing and are affected the same way by the same things. This allows you to do things like make super efficient horde bases that just solve all of the problems, because you can just do something like electrocute all of the zombies to freeze them all in place, allowing you to easily melee attack them, or light a whole group of them on fire, taking out large chunks of them at one time. Now, they do have different hit point values, so this can leave some alive, but imagine if some of the zombies weren't affected by being electrocuted, or some of the zombies weren't affected by being lit on fire. There are a whole host of different debuffs in the game that they could just make random zombies immune to, or give random zombies other perks, like it's a normal zombie, it's not a feral, but it can sprint, and it can sprint really fast. Or it's any one of the different base type zombies, however, when it hits you, it stacks bleed. Or maybe the zombie isn't affected by bleed when you try to bleed it, or it's not affected by slow if you have a slowing effect that you can do through one of your abilities. Doing this kind of thing would just sow so much chaos into the game that it would keep things really dynamic and interesting, because right now, when you fight a group of zombies, it's pretty much the same thing, and all of them are affected by things like the repulsor mod. So you hit a group and a bunch of them go flying if it triggers. Well, imagine if one did not and it just stood there and kept attacking you. This is already something a lot of different games do to create variability in gameplay, and it creates lots of different situations that are dynamic and fun. This would also be a big challenge to create more efficient horde bases as well. Maybe you have a zombie that is somehow immune to dismemberment, so it just walks through all your blade traps like they were nothing. Sure, it still continues to take damage from the blade traps, but it doesn't get dismembered as easy. They already have that built into higher level zombies and stronger zombies, that it's harder to dismember them. They could just make some that are randomly immune to it. They already have a ton of different systems, buffs, and debuffs that they could use, meaning they would only have to create the base system that applies these random effects to some zombies. Now, I'm not saying that all zombies should have a random trait to them. I'm just saying that throwing it on maybe 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of every 20 gets one of these random traits would just help sow a little bit more chaos into the mix and make things a little bit more dynamic and fun. Finding the right balance of how often this should be applied to zombies and what exactly should be applied to zombies at what specific stage in the game, that's up to the game devs to balance and figure out. This would just provide much more challenge to the game and help balance out the additional power scale that you're going to get by making those chase items within the trader questing system. And that's just 2 ideas I have that I think would help solve a bit of the problem with the game getting too boring too fast. I'm sure there are a lot of other things that could be done. I feel like they definitely need to do something with the quests in the game, because right now there's just no real incentive to do them, in my opinion. You can play the entire game without ever touching it and you're not really going to miss anything. Sure, it helps you do things like get some books a little bit faster, but you can get those faster other ways as well. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video talking about it a little bit because I have not been playing the game actively. I've just been working on content for the game. It's not really the same thing. For fun, I've been playing other games, and it's for this very reason. I just get bored too quick and the game is far too easy to me. So let me know what you all think down there in the comments. Does it get boring for you? Really quickly, about at what stage in the game does it get boring for you? Are you like me? Is it around the 35, 40-ish level mark, somewhere around there? Or is there a specific thing that needs to happen for you before it just is no longer a challenge? Or is it always a challenge to you and you don't actually have that problem? And what solutions do you think would fix this problem, if you think that it is a problem at all? Let me know what you all think down there in the comments. And that's going to wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you all found this video helpful and informational. If you did, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for some more of my content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.